I have the worst train of thought of any human being on the internet.
It's okay.
And my name is Phil Balabanos, and this is the third official episode of Fill My Hole. Today in the hole, we have Neldy Germain. Germain, how would you pronounce that?
Both ways, depending on where I am.
Both ways, Neldy Germain. He is a visual artist and a self-professed, somewhat decent human being.
Somewhat.
Full disclosure, he's my neighbor. He lives downstairs in the same building. So sometimes
sure
I see him. It's been 7 years. We've
Yeah.
had like 5 conversations randomly in the lobby.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, it's good.
to the
You're
show.
one of the people I like the most in the building.
You can say whatever you want. None of the people in the building listen to this.
No, but I like what I'm saying. I don't like them. So I'm saying.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I don't.
Build.
There's like.
I was not expecting
There's literally like 5 people I talk to in this building. You're one of them. All the rest, I can't. I just can't.
You got a good 5. I don't even have a solid 5.
Dude, I have a solid 5.
I got I'll say 3.
I'll give you like there's 5 and there's like 3 like there's head nods. Like we're good. Like we're not friends, we're not enemies. We're just like I got you. You're there.
You mean this one, right? Hold on.
That.
Yeah.
That's exactly
that is the salutation of my people.
Yep, that's the way.
If we don't know you, yeah.
Oh my God.
Whoa! That's not what I meant. Wow, we're going straight there. Okay, so apparently we're jumping the gun. We're not going to do introductions. We're just going to go straight into the crux of it. But for those of you who don't know, I'm not black. Because if you're listening to the audio, I know I have a sultry voice. It's very baritone. And I'm not. So I thought it would be ridiculous, absolutely fucking ridiculous, for me to sit here with someone else and give my opinion on what the fuck is happening right now.
Fair.
Both sides of the border. And what's been going on for, I don't know, 400 years? I guess since the 1800s. Is that about right?
400 years, yeah.
Yeah. So, but before we get into that, I just want to talk a bit about you. Like, you seem, from what I've gathered in our brief head nods, you seem like an interesting dude.
Thanks.
So what the fuck do you do? Like, I see you all around. You got a camera, the lightsabers.
How do I describe? Visual artist is the right title. I like to say, like, there's visual artist, podcast host, literally. I mean, bringer of hot takes. Basically, if I think about something, I just
let's back up a second. What is a bringer of hot takes?
I say what I think, and sometimes it's not the right thing, and like depending on the subject, like
you're gonna like it here.
Oh yeah, I'll give you an example. Yeah. I firmly believe that McDonald's is the greatest burger of all time. I don't care what anybody says. It's the greatest burger.
Wow, we're going straight. Okay, this is gonna be a heavy episode. Which McDonald's hamburger?
The original, not the Big Mac,
not the Big Mac.
The one hamburger.
Quarter pounder with cheese.
Nah,
what's the original?
Those are extras. The original plain hamburger is the greatest hamburger of all time. You will find nothing better than. I didn't say it was the freshest.
Okay.
I didn't say it's the biggest one. I'm saying it's the best burger.
In terms of deliciousness.
Deliciousness, the more available.
Value?
Value, there's a few that are cheaper, but whatever. But it's the one where you always have it and it's always good. You'll never go like, McDonald's. It's never happened.
I don't think I've ever had the original ham. Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't prepared for this conversation. I didn't do my homework. I don't know what the best burger is. If you say it's McDonald's, I'll have to try it after all this quarantine business is done.
Comments are going to get wild because this is not a good opinion.
There's only like 63 people in the comments. It's not going to get that wild.
Those 63s, I'm sure they're like, they got opinions.
I think some of them are vegans.
Oh. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I really don't care. Vegan bacon, that's another topic. I'll bring you back on for that. No, yeah. So
I mean, I respect the effort and I respect you need to do it because bacon it's a joy to have.
I had bacon this morning.
Which is good. And I get, like, if you're vegan, you want that taste, it's fair. But I don't like it.
It's not the fat, it's the smokiness with bacon.
It's not the same. It's just
no. I agreed 100%. Even turkey bacon, but it's the smokiness that really draws me in. It's that hickory.
Fair. But you know what? I respect vegan bacon more than turkey bacon.
Turkey bacon is not bacon.
Exactly. So that's why I respect vegan bacon more. Vegan bacon is the attempt of recreating something that's real. Turkey bacon is just I don't.
Have you ever had wild boar bacon?
Yes.
That's a fucking ride,
It's
man.
just
Oh
great.
man,
That's
yeah.
fucking great.
I'm so hungry, and I just ate. Like I smoked some salmon on some cedar planks on the balcony.
You fancy.
Yeah, I was fancy today. I was super
This
fancy.
neighborhood made you bougie.
I'm from Côte d'Ivoire, man. It's like a kilometer away. They might as well pull up a fence.
It's fair. It's fair.
So visual artist, I see a lot of photography in that
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, it's I
How'd you get started?
usually man, I used to geez, this is a long ass story, but like when I started, not when I started school, when I was in school, my parents wanted me to be an accountant. And
Exciting stuff.
yep, that quickly became a nope, I'm not going to do that. I don't like math. I never liked math. And that was just not what I was supposed to be. And I also used to skateboard. So I was signed and everything to like a, you know, a sponsor and everything.
Right.
And so we used to take turns taking videos, and mine were always the ones where we picked the most cuts. And I used to like do those with photos and whatever else. Like I used to take the product shots and like was the stuff for the t-shirts, whatever promo that we were doing. And it kept transferring to like, this is what I'm supposed to do. I liked art. I've always liked art, but when you're a kid, you don't know it's a job, right? And they'll tell you it's a job that you can do because it's not safe. So I kept doing other shit instead of doing what I was supposed to do until I got a little bit older and figured, oh, designer sounds like what I can do. And then visual artist and designer, like I got my design degree and I started taking photos, but it's more like I had the photographic sense of what I wanted to do. It just blended itself with designing, and then just like kept carrying through. Like it's always been like I've been producing either something on video or on photo or on canvas or in shows, like just forever. Like ever since I finished CJEP, got to college and whatever else.
So you're like you're academically trained as as an artist.
Yeah.
I don't mean to use air quotes, but
no.
It's a term that gets thrown around a lot.
I mean, I went to Concordia, so you can use all the air quotes you want. It's pretty much.
It's a school, man.
It's a school.
You paid money and they gave you a piece of paper.
Yep.
Mine's up there. You can't really see it, but I paid more money for mine and it's shittier, I promise. I don't know how to transition into this in a way that makes sense. Were you downtown yesterday for the protest?
I didn't go downtown, but there's specifics to why I didn't go downtown.
The cops were looking for you specifically?
No, that doesn't happen. That's not true. It's happened. But it's more like I have kids. I figured I have kids. I'm Black. There's already been since this shit happening. I figured it wouldn't sit right by me to like not be able to come home, even if it was just me being arrested. Like as much as I wanted to go, I knew like, all right, well, it's not my fight. I'll let like louder voices or bigger voices go for me.
I can respect that. Like,
yeah, it's not that I regret not going. It's more like, as much as I feel anger for what's happening, and I want to be there, I think I can channel my anger in different ways. So like, I think going through art and like actually giving resources and helping out if something happens to like helping people get through more resources or more help was more valuable for me than going there. So I saw the people that were there and I was angry, just as angry as them, but I just figured if I can't be there, let me use my time as protest in my way.
Yeah, let each man practice the art he knows, right? Like, I'm not going to help anyone by making signs and posters. No one's going to read those signs.
No.
You know, you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And I think I get what you're trying to say, and I completely understand the weight of responsibility that comes with having kids. Like you're like, I can't be, because my dad always told me when I was like a flag burning leftist when I was young. He always told me, he goes, wait till you have kids and the world gets a hold of you and you have responsibilities. We'll see how fast you'll be to jump down into a protest. It's a different thing.
it's tough because you still want to. That's the thing. Like
Yeah, and
it's
can I ask you a
and
weird question? Like
go
a
for
weird
it.
question. It's not really a weird question. It's just a very, I guess, subjective question. Like you said, you're so angry, right?
Yep.
What are you mad about? Why are you mad, bro?
Man.
I'm just gonna try and temper that with a little
Yeah.
humor because I feel like I touched the nerve. Like it's a
It's
serious question from a Caucasian. Like
yeah.
even though I don't really feel white in the sense that people use the term, I'm still a
Yeah.
white guy.
Yeah.
I'm an ethnic guy.
I think it's because you blend in. This is what I mean. Like
I can go unnoticed.
you can go unnoticed. That's the thing. I can't. And not that I want to, but it's not something that I've ever felt like I could do.
Okay.
And the thing that makes me the most angry is we're still here. Like the same issues that like my dad had with what's happening in society and like with police brutality and like inequalities is the same issues that my grandfather had the same issues that my great grandfather had. It's like my lineage in being black has been the same. Like you think like it would have been better by now that
I would argue that it's a little bit tiny better than your great grandfather.
yes,
Fair.
it's of course it's better, but
it's slow.
more
It's slow
like
going.
it's so slow. Like we're talking 400 years, and really we're talking 156 or 160 some odd years
Since what,
we've been
emancipation or
like since we've
okay.
been actually legal citizens, and we're still here. That's the part that's the most angering. The other part is we keep saying it's happening, and we keep being told it's fine.
It's not happening.
It's not happening. Like how many times can we say, "Look, we're dying. Look, we're being killed. Look, there's inequalities for us, and we need help." Because no matter what happens, it's like we are a minority. As much as we can say, man, we're going to vote people out, we're going to try to make stuff better for ourselves, we still need the majority to help us, right? And
right.
If the majority says there's no issue, then nothing changes. So it's the same cycle. So that's the thing that's angry. Like we talked about, I have kids. So do I have to teach them how to deal with what's going to eventually happen again and again? That's the part that's even more angering. Like I will still hear. That's the part. It's just fucking sucks.
Like just to jump in, like I was watching Raising Dion on Netflix, which is not the type of show where I thought it was gonna make some political. It's not really a political statement. It's a fact.
Yeah.
But the fact, like a mother having to explain to her son that, hey, by the way, you're 7, but you're also black. Like that's something I can't even. Like it's hard to watch in a scene as in a film, and I'll say it right now, like it's a powerful moment in that otherwise very light show.
Yeah.
But like it's weird that a show like that could show me something like that, and then 2 days later this happens.
Yeah.
Right. George Floyd is murdered, effectively.
Murdered. But that's the other thing too. It's like there's instances like this. It's like it's not like a George Floyd was murdered, but there's like 1,000 George Floyds. Yeah, 1,000 George Floyd. The only thing that changes that we have cell phones now. This was on film. So if no one
we
was
had
there,
cell phones 3 months ago with what was his name, Aubrey. We had cell phones 4 years ago. We've had video evidence for a long time.
I think this one was so clear, like so clear.
Yeah, this one.
I think it was visceral. It was so like he was on the floor. It was.
You watched a man die
on camera.
It was like it's a snuff film.
Yeah,
it is.
You saw him, and that's just.
Of all of these that I've ever seen, this is the one that affected me the most, like emotionally in the moment. And I don't mean thinking about it later. I mean, as I was watching it, like I came in to show my wife and it choked me up. I was like, why is this affecting me so bad? And I was like, of course it's affecting me. It's fucking ridiculous.
Because it's ridiculous. You know better.
Yeah. And I think, correct me if you think I'm wrong. Like, I don't know. I hear a lot of people, white people for the most part, and again, ethnics also in that crowd, Middle Easterners, Mediterraneans, Northern Europeans, they're like, how could this happen? And I think a lot of us, like, I don't feel like you don't seem very different to me. And I don't mean that I don't see color. I know you're black.
Yes.
I just mean like whatever. You're black. I'm Greek. I grew up in Montreal. It's a city that's been ghettofied by like your clan, right?
Yes.
So to me, that's just a normal thing. It doesn't mean anything specific about someone for the most part to me.
But
But I think I've been desensitized to it. So in my mind, it doesn't exist here. Or maybe a little bit from the like the rednecks out in like the Saguenay. But I'm fucking wrong, aren't I?
yeah.
Yeah.
There's the it's the moments where you go like this where it's not that bad. Here is where you go, you do Canada or Montreal or whatever else versus someplace else. Once you decide or say it's not that bad here, it's like subconsciously you stop trying to make it better. You just go, this is good enough. You know what I mean?
But isn't thinking it's not bad here because you don't feel that way a step in the right direction also?
The issue with saying I'm not a racist is the bare minimum. You shouldn't be a racist.
Well, no one should be. Yes,
that's what 100%. I mean. So saying it's not bad here, I'm not a racist, that's the bare minimum. That means if there's, it's like if there's you're holding 2 ice creams, right?
Yeah.
And
okay.
One ice cream falls in shit. The 2 of them fall in shit, right? But you pick one up and it's a lot of shit on it, and then you pick yours and it's a little bit of shit on it. You're like, well, this one is way worse because there's a lot of shit on it.
But they both have shit on them.
They both have shit on them. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Are you just gonna lick the one with shit on, or are you just gonna clean it up? We're trying to clean both of them up. That's right. The issue. Because if you decide and go like, well, this is not that bad, and you just start licking on it, well, there's still shit. So that's the thing with racism.
It's a very specific analogy.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
But that's the thing. The issue is you can't just blind yourself and go, it's not that bad here. Because then you effectively go, I'm not going to try to do anything to make things better.
Right.
You just status quo. That's the issue. The issue is status quo is not good. You wouldn't want status quo. Why are we doing the lip service thing where we go, it's not bad here, when no one's trying to make things better? We're looking at tragedy in the most extreme way and not trying to fix what's happening here or in the system that's going on throughout North America. When you are a person of color, you live as a person of color there's not that many people I could say, like, there's not many people I've met that are people of color, Black, that have not gone through an instance of racism in their lifetime. You learn racism early, and you learn quickly that you're not going to be treated fairly. And that's not something that should happen, whether it's at the extreme where you could die or at the extreme where like you just feel like things aren't equal. And that's not the thing that should ever happen anywhere. It shouldn't be a thing that we are complacent about. It shouldn't be a thing that we're like, it's okay. It shouldn't be, it's okay. It should be, this not acceptable anywhere. That's the part.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And just to go back to how I started this tangent, I'm not saying that it's not so bad here.
No.
Right? I'm asking, like, this is the conception that I seem to be hearing from. It's not so bad here. Meanwhile, our Prime Minister, Kylo Ren, did blackface twice, and not like subtle blackface, like shoe polish blackface.
Shoe polish blackface.
He like what is the name of that character from the 20s? That Gambino always imitated in that video. Jim Crow.
Jim Crow.
Yeah, like he went Jim Crow blackface.
Full Jim Crow.
And he still doesn't know what he did was why people were mad. He was reelected, obviously, because he's pretty. But so how can it not be so bad here when you have that going on? Because as far as my understanding of the calls for this is systemic, right? It's inherent in our culture. That more or less sums it up really well. Like really privileged, and I use the term privileged in a financial sense, not like white privilege. No. A very privileged white kid did something super inappropriate, extremely offensive, disgusting, really. People got mad, got over it, and he still probably doesn't understand why they were ever mad in the first place, because come on, guys, it was a joke.
I'm sure he gets it.
You
But
give him too much credit.
No, I there's two parts. I'm sure he gets it, but I also am sure that he didn't apologize for people of color. He apologized
for the votes.
White people.
He apologized to white people? Explain yourself, because I'm pretty sure they didn't care.
White people cared because we were mad. I thought it was fucked up. And it was a struggle to figure out who to vote for. Like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't vote for him because as much as I like the policies, I can't vote for blackface. It's
I'm gonna start calling him that. I like that. I can't vote for blackface.
I can't vote for blackface. I can't.
No, you can't.
I can't.
Even if it was one time blackface, I'd argue with you. Like, give the guy a chance. But 2 times, come on.
Dude, 2 times, 3 times, dude.
One time's too many, obviously.
It was too much. But I also think that it was easier to apologize to the masses, meaning the majority.
You mean the angry white girls?
The angry white moms. That's what he apologized. The ones Karens. That don't care. It's all the Karens. All the Karens who, again, lip service. We're mad, but like.
So the Karens are supporting the cause.
The Karens are not supporting the cause. The Karens are.
Well, they think they are.
Always.
Which is worse. Which is fucking worse.
It's lip service. That's the thing that I don't get. I don't get. It's I was told it's bad, so you did something bad. I want you to apologize. And once you apologize, you're good. But you're not. There's nothing he's done.
But could he really do something to make it okay? Could he have done something? Anything? Honestly.
Yeah.
Like what?
Could have. Listen, you could have empowered Black and brown people to do stuff actually in Canada. We did not just feel like minorities. If you were taking really ownership of things like this, you come and sit down with us and actually try to make a change. That shit didn't happen. You moved on to like pipelines and whatever else. You didn't do shit.
Yeah, but he had to murder. He had to make sure the indigenous people don't get theirs. Like, he can't worry about you. You're not even from here. They brought you here, right?
Exactly. He didn't give a fuck.
He doesn't. Of course he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't know what's going on. He's lost, man.
He's from Montreal. He couldn't give a fuck. But he's
from Westmount. He couldn't give a fuck. There's a big difference.
Fair.
Like, because in my mind, it's always the same struggle. Like, yes, there's racism at play, but at the same time, it's a class struggle too, right? To some extent, but I mean, like, a forced upon class to some extent because of the fact that it's not equal for opportunities, right?
But that's the thing, exactly.
Yeah,
so it's tough because the majority of us are not in higher class. So it's hard to go and not think that it's not class-based too. The thing is, how can I, again, if I feel like things are unequal and everybody that are making things unequal to me are higher class, a lot lower class, which is uneducated, but like even higher class.
I think they're of less significance than.
It's both. I'd rather.
You're right. No, you're right.
It's both. Like, but because like a poor white dude could kill me. Instantly, I thought of that. But a rich white dude could make me stay poor forever. So
I'd take the first option.
I don't know, man.
It was me.
I don't know. I don't want any of those options. I'd rather.
No, agreed. But in that situation,
it just sucks at all times. But I think it's you're right that class sort of is. It's a mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag.
But you would think that also the poor class, like a poor white man, maybe is uneducated about things that is happening that's
What's
happening.
What's there to be educated about, man? Why hate someone for no apparent reason? It's not a question of education. Fear. It's a question. Yeah, it's not. I always dislike the word racism for one specific reason, because it kind of, how do I say this without sounding like an asshole? I would prefer the term like xenophobia to racism.
Yeah.
For the simple reason that race is a weird construct to me anyways. Like, as it's almost undefinable. It's basically, it's colorism. Like, you're darker than me, you're brighter than me, you're thisser than me. So it's really xenophobia. Like you're different from me.
But I
That's what
think
it is, right?
it becomes that when it's only color, but it's sometimes it's not just, it's color and culture now. It's not just my darker skin color. It's how I dress, what I listen to, what I eat, like how I hang out with my friends.
Sounds like you dress like me, eat like me, and we live in the same building.
You are probably one of
Probably not.
We're both privileged to live in Montreal, which is different. But if I go out of Montreal, if I go a bit more north in Quebec,
like Laval,
yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna
oh really?
lie, I'm gonna talk shit about Laval. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm down. Like if we're gonna hate a group of people, it's Laval.
Laval. But if I go like
but you
north,
lived in the States too, right?
Yeah, but the States was different beast. Like I will say, Quebec is probably the most racist province I've ever been in.
Oh wow, that's a big statement.
By far.
Vive le Québec libre, bro.
Yeah. And I will say Florida is probably the most violent towards racism, like the most animosity.
That you've been to or that exists?
That I've been to.
Oh, because I'm thinking like Alabama, like it must be worse than Florida.
Depends. It depends where you go in Florida. Like there's like South Florida is really bad. Like I used to live in West Palm Beach.
Did you say South Florida is really?
South Florida is bad.
Nobody's white in South Florida.
There's a lot of white people in South Florida.
I've never seen them.
There's a lot of white people in
really?
Florida.
I have a weird experience always when I travel, especially to the States or anywhere really. When I meet Black people, I assume they're Francophone because I'm from Quebec.
Because you're from
and
here?
It always makes for the weirdest converssations. Because I walk up to them, I speak in French, and they look at me, and maybe they're Haitian, maybe they'll communicate with me and be like, oh, that's cute. The little white guy's trying to talk to me. Okay, sac passé, my brother.
Exactly.
But for the most part, they just look at me like I'm crazy.
Yep.
And they're always like, you poor thing, you're an idiot. And I was like, I don't get it. Right? I know that you all speak different languages. It's just programmed in me, right?
I think also if you go, well, it's again the privilege is that we live here. Right. Where like there's way more culture. So that's the thing that I could say. Like in terms of education, it's way easier here.
Okay.
Because there's so many. You have to interact with us. You don't have a choice. You can't just stay isolated, especially Montreal. The issue is when you go north, way north. Go to Quebec City. Ain't that many Black people.
Quebec City's not north.
Quebec City's north.
That way.
Quebec City's north, man.
I guess it is north. Yeah, it is.
It's north, right. Man. It's north.
It's east. It's in the Delta.
Sure, but like,
whatever.
You have to still go up.
Agree to disagree. Okay, sure. we're taking strides in the right direction here.
I mean, I would know where the Black people are. So
fair enough. As a white person, I feel like you're saying I would know where they're not, but I'm gonna let that slide. But yeah, I guess Quebec City. Nah, I don't know. I couldn't say either way.
The more north you go, the more people they're less likely to have interacted with Black people or any people of color. So you get clustered into your own thing. You see the same people all the time. You see the same color all the time. So when you see somebody that's different, you might not know what's going on. You might not know how to react. You might not. And instead of like being curious and asking questions and like going like, I'm going to invite this culture into, I know. Invite the culture into what I already have. You fear it, so you push it away. That's where racism is.
Right, but isn't racism also in the little old French Canadian lady in I don't know, Tadoussac, somewhere north, who's never seen a Black person? She's 80 years old, and she sees her first Black person, and she's like, wow.
But she doesn't have.
Is that just as bad?
Yes, because she doesn't have
exactly.
Because the thing is, what makes her go, I'm fearful of this, There's no
Oh no,
reason.
I don't mean in a fearful way. I just mean in like just like splendor. Like what's
Oh,
happening?
that's okay. I
Is
don't
it?
think that's racism.
That's
There's a
just what
that's
ignorance.
No, I don't think it's ignorance. It's depending on how you view it. If you view it as like the fetishism thing, where like I have to like,
Cool. I
what's
wasn't
this new
going there,
thing?
but okay.
It's. I'm not talking sexually. It's the fetishizing the black man. Like we're cool, we're new, whatever else. Like
We're
there's a lot.
new. I like that.
Some people for that it's I've
Yeah,
never
that's
seen
true.
this before.
Fine.
It's
Yes, there's
new,
some
right?
novelty there. Yeah.
Man, I have to raise black kids. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I have to raise black kids. They're gonna have to just live life and know they're black and live like that things might happen because they're black. They have to just temper. They can't be as mad. They can't be as mad as they want to be when they're outside. If something happens, like my dream is to yell at a cop. I can't yell. I can't be as angry as I want to be if something happens that's fucked up to me. I can't because I might not come home, and they can't. I have to teach them that shit can't happen to them either.
But that shit can. I'm not trying to downplay the inequality of how police deal with minorities.
Yeah,
But like that could happen to anyone also.
but it's way more likely to happen to me. That's the thing.
Fair. The point I'm trying to make is not that. The point I'm trying to make is we should all teach our kids to fucking control their emotions, because maybe when shit happens, they may be the ones to detract, like to kind of diffuse a situation also.
I think that's the goal for everybody, which is fine. Because I agree with you. Like we should all be able to control your emotions when you speak to.
But I get it. You want to tell a cop that he's being a racist prick and he shouldn't be doing what he's doing.
When he is.
When
You know
he
what I
is.
mean?
No, of course. Yeah.
That's what
I'm
I
not
mean.
behind ACAB. Like
No,
that
I
whole
mean
thing
like
I don't agree
that's
with.
exactly. I mean like
Yeah.
when he is. When something happens that's unequal, like you versus me. If you get stopped at a traffic light for nothing, and you can yell at the cop and be like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" I can't do the same thing.
Can I do that? I've been always scared to do that.
I've seen
Fuck.
a lot of Karens do this. So there you go.
Yeah, you see, the only kind of inequality I've ever experienced, like you would think as a white person, an English-speaking, Christian background white person, the world would be my oyster, right? But no, I exist in Quebec, where I'm an ethnic Anglophone, and I'm treated like scum.
I think I agree.
It's not the same.
No.
And it's the only parallel that I could even draw to kind of understand.
But I
understand.
But I get it, since this is again it's local. There's privileges and disadvantages and inequalities. Like I'm privileged to be black in North America, and I have food to eat and have a good job, and everything's like relatively fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I also get like you're a white guy that you lost your hair. There's disadvantages. Like there's also things where it's unequal for you too.
You're fucking older than me. I look like your dad.
Sorry, I'm black. I don't crack.
Yeah.
It's just there's shit.
I got nothing clever to respond to that.
It's not like you look old either, but like
whatever.
I speak the two languages, but like I can definitely say that.
Do you speak French? I've never. I just assumed you didn't.
First language French.
Oh, you told me you were from the States originally,
I am.
So I just assumed.
So I am, but like,
so what's your like actual background? And don't say black. Give me the Montreal answer.
My mom is Haitian. My dad is American.
Okay.
So I was born in Montreal, but I was raised in half in Montreal, half in Florida. So when my parents split, my mom stayed here. My dad moved to South Florida. And I would do 6 months. So I would change schools every time. Me and my brother would just like.
That's so fucked up.
Yep. That's 90s, early 90s, where
parenting, man.
Exactly.
Parenting, yeah. Oh man, I wish I was a parent in the 90s.
It's
so
insane.
easy.
Just made no sense. So then I had to see like both systems, and I get that if you're an English-speaking person in Quebec, you're a minority.
Yeah. Well, I speak French.
I know
poorly.
But you still know that like you'll be treated better if you speak French.
In Montreal?
Depends where.
Depends where.
Depends where. Yeah. Like more often than not, like I get in more trouble speaking English than speaking French. But like that's the thing. Like the part where like things aren't equal, you just know. But that if you're, it's more like there's privilege in everything.
Sure.
Meaning, I have black privilege. I'm physically
I've never heard
better.
anyone say that.
Oh my god,
Black privilege?
There's
I've never heard that term.
There's so many.
So go back to how you were playing eugenics there a second ago. What were you about to say? I heard I am physically better. That's what I heard, man.
We just are. We run faster. We're cooler. We dominate all the sports.
Cooler is subjective, dude.
Nah, man, we're cooler. We're listen. We have the better clothes. There's swag.
That is institutionalized. All of that.
It's that. Listen, we just have it. It's in us. It's passed down to us from Africa.
I'll give you dance 100%.
We are cool. We are the most copied, emulated people in the world.
I'm sorry, buddy. Hi, Phil here. Greek guy. Have you met Western society?
We are
the most emulated.
Everybody wants to act black. That's just the true thing.
Yeah.
We just know. Everybody wants to be LeBron James,
like
Michael
this
Jordan.
Is so counterproductive to the struggle right now. But like, we Black Lives Matter. We want equality, but we want you crackers to know that's better than you.
That's not what I'm saying. That's saying
basically what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that.
I'll give you another go.
No, I'm saying that this is our privilege. Meaning we have these things. We should be proud. That's what I'm saying. Like, we shouldn't just feel like we're a minority, can't do anything. It's just tough we have all these things, and then people like all those things, but also treat us unequally. You know what I mean? So like, I'll never be able to like get a good loan, or not feel like I'm not going to get arrested, or not feel like I'm not treated like unfairly at work or just in life, even though I know that people are profiting from black bodies, black art, and black culture, which is the things that this is the things that I value. This is my privilege, as opposed to like another white person who has the privilege of just walking around and being safe and everything's fine, and like not as unequal or not face the same inequalities as me. So there's different privileges, is what I'm saying.
So I'm busting your balls about.
No, I know.
But there's a part of me that's really glad that you just said that, because one of the things that I hate is we're all the same. We're not all the same. And I don't mean on a genetics level, which is obviously bullshit. We're not all the same genetically. I don't want to live in that world. But we're just not, and it's more cultural than it is race, right? And you growing up between Montreal and like West Palm Beach or wherever, and a black guy from, I don't know, Alabama, and a black guy from Ghana who grew up his whole life in Ghana, not the same culturally. Me, a much easier example, I'm a Greek Canadian, third generation. My grandparents came here. I'm as Montreal as it gets. My cousin, we're not the same culturally. We're both Greeks, but we're not the same at all. No. And people liked, I think even within their own cultural communities, people like to pretend like that's not true. And there's nothing wrong with feeling like a brotherhood, like a bond between you. That's fine. That's great. We're all people. But to look away from that and say, nah, we're all the same. We all deserve the same shit all the time. Yes, we deserve the same thing, but we can't all do the same things.
That's the thing. I think we deserve the same equal rights, the same shit. I shouldn't have to like think that somebody else could get over me on something else, of something that's basic. That's the part that sucks.
But if you can dunk and I can't, whatever.
Who the fuck cares?
Like, who the fuck cares?
It's fine. I don't care. That's just physics. Like I can't.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Physically, it's not, and I'm not saying all black people. I'm just saying me physically.
I've met some pretty sloppy black people who could not dunk.
It happens. I'm 5'8". I can't dunk.
Yeah.
But I run fucking fast. But that's just me. But the other thing too is,
you don't look fast. That surprises me. But go on.
Dude, I'm fucking fast. I used to run track. I'm fucking fast.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not fast.
That's the thing. Growing up in Montreal and growing up in Florida is I felt way more connected to my blackness in Florida, because there was way more black. I was way
As
more
you should. There's a lot more black people.
low. So many more people that look like me, so it was easier to just be. You still
Yeah.
knew that it wasn't like. You still knew that you weren't treated equally, but you were still like together. But the other thing
There's
that's
more people. Like the
more
community
people.
is bigger.
But the issue was you also very much knew that the police
Or hyper
in the
aware.
States is hyper aware.
Yeah.
It's constant fights. It was constant like animosity. Like it was just in your face all the time. And I kind of feel it's in Montreal, it's the same, but
Smaller numbers.
no, it's feel like Montreal or even Quebec as a whole, they're very quick to just sweep that under the rug. Like the amount of people who get like dude beaten up by cops and then you don't hear about it because it's all the good old boys. They don't say shit.
Yeah, well, I was on Saturday. I was doing a live stream with Pantelis, who I think you know a bit.
Yeah.
You had told me.
Yeah.
And what he said was it's gang culture within the police forces.
Yep.
It's not that all the cops are bad, but the gang culture is so
rampant.
like exactly. So, and I assume when there's more of the people who are being targeted, like there is in Florida, and I can attest to that, like it's witnessable. I've been going to Florida often in the last like 16 months for work. And I was sitting in a Marriott lobby and I had this weird vibe and something that had never happened to me in my life. I looked up and everyone was looking at me. There was like 40 people in the room. I was the only white guy. And I was like, oh. And I looked around and everyone just kind of nodded at me. And I was like, hey. And they're like, everybody got really embarrassed. I'm like, no, it's cool. I get it. Like, this must suck. Because, like, that was the first time I felt that. I was like, yeah, this must suck. Well, they're all like, what the fuck is he doing here? I was just staying there. I didn't know it was like a black neighborhood. I had no idea.
Literally, that's my life every day. Like, it's...
It made me feel a little special. I'm not going to lie.
It is when it's the first time. It's not.
Yeah, I guess, it's a novelty.
When there's nobody else ever. Like, that's the thing that fucking sucks. Like, I work at a tech job. I work at a tech job where I'm in the creative field. There's not that many black guys in the creative field. There's not that many. It's just the fact.
Well, I looked into my Rolodex here. I was like, I need to talk to a guy who's not a white guy. I was like, how about this guy? He's downstairs.
It's just not that many. Like, I don't... It's tough. It's tough to... Man, I went to conferences for... Man, artificial intelligence and whatever else, and then it's all white guys. Or if I'm in marketing, it's white women. It's just no one looks like me.
Who the fuck let the white women into marketing? I want to know who did that. Like, they ruined it. They ruined it. It's all fucking Instagram now. It's all crema. It's wild. They run the show. You can't get in anymore.
They should run the show. They're better at it than we are.
They probably are
better at it,
especially on the back end side of things.
They
really are.
Honestly, they just know better.
I love working. It doesn't happen often. It's so interesting to meet like female cinematographers, and they're always like weirded out by me because I'm always like, tell me how this happened for you, and they're like, why the fuck do you care? Because it's so rare. And I'm like, man, you must have balls the size of a fucking baseball field to pull this off. Because it's not easy.
It's not easy and it's not fun. That's the thing.
I wouldn't doubt it. Fuck, you've been on sets. Set culture is kind of gross.
It's not fun. It's insane. And again, if you don't, the thing about like shit that happens like this is like when you're by yourself. Like, let's say you experience with like being the only white guy.
Yeah.
Something that's fucked up happens, and you look around. You're like, is there another white guy? Like, so you can acknowledge that we both looked at this thing and it's fucked up, and you see nobody. Imagine being like the only female cinematographer or director or whatever.
Yeah, I can only imagine what that feels like. Honestly, I can't say. I'm not gonna say I can imagine, but I can only imagine.
Which is fair, but the thing that I like is that at least you empathize, meaning like that must suck, so I'm not gonna make it worse. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, I think empathize is the wrong word. Like, I like to think that I don't think too much about it in the moment, and I'm just me. Yeah. like I'm not the one who's going to be on the front lines of a Black Lives Matters like
No.
protest, but at the same time, like, fuck, man, this shit it's been going on for a very long time. It seems banal and silly to me at this point that we're still having this fucking conversation.
Yes.
Like, that's what frustrates me. And at the end of the day, it's senseless violence. So like, even now that the protests turned violent, which I'm sure was fucking detractors who did it, like, they're, you know, look, there's a bunch of bored privileged kids who are down there, especially fucking Antifa, which it shames me what Antifa has become, because it's in its inception to fight the access, amazing. But Antifa just degenerated into just, I've been to Antifa meetings years ago, like, and there was always those five guys who were like, we're gonna break shit, right? We're like, why are we gonna break shit? Fuck the cops. Why fuck the cops? Just can't, what the fuck? What does that have to do with anything? So yeah, that the element is in there. It's like 2%.
I think it's in there, but I also do think that, like, there's only so much you can say that things are unequal. There's only so much you can do: silent protests, nonviolent protests, songs, poems, art, until
Gonna
at
do
some
shit.
point. But I mean, at some point, the amount of things you do and people tell you don't do it that way, and you're still unequal, but at some point, you're going to revolt.
Well, you're shaking a champagne bottle for 150 years.
Exactly. So I don't think that it turned violent for nothing. I can't.
Not in the U.S. In the U.S., I get it. I'm talking about what happened last night here.
Last night here, that's different.
It seemed like a bunch of bored French kids.
I don't.
To me. But in the U.S., like, I read today, 20 minutes before I left to come to the studio, that they're declaring martial law. He passed the Insurrection Act.
Yeah. But I think here there's a few things too. Like, I think, like, Legault went out and said we don't have a racial inequality problem.
Which Legault?
François Legault.
The one who, the Bill 21 Legault?
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, okay, cool.
He said there was no problem.
Did he miss the last 6 months before coronavirus?
Exactly. So he said there was no problem. So imagine.
But maybe he just hates Muslims, even if they're white, black. He's like, I just don't like Muslims.
I think, he just.
I have no issue with the color of your skin, but if you kneel 3 times a day, suck a dick, get the fuck out.
That's what I mean. So, like, he said there's no issue. So imagine there's 100 politicians like him. 1,000 politicians like in Quebec who don't give a fuck. So
Valerie
I
Plante
think
seems to have spoken properly about it. She's full of shit. I'm just saying she said the right words.
I think she said the right words, but I think she said the right words again. Lip service. What the fuck have you been doing? Nothing.
I'm not saying it means anything.
No.
I
agree
the
with
right
you.
words. She has a good script writer. That's all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The PR was nice.
Maybe she has a black PR guy. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think she does.
I don't think she does.
I don't think a black PR guy would have written that shit. Like, again,
yeah, that's what we need. We need Valerie Plante like this. Like, that would have gone well in the media.
Honestly, like I said,
would have laughed so hard.
It's so fucking stupid to me. Like, bare minimum. Bare minimum is the bar. Why is bare minimum the bar? Like, it's bare minimum is the high bar where you're like, are you serious? We're not racist. Montreal has no problem. We're not as bad as
I don't even know what to say.
In the States. That's the high bar. That's the high bar.
Maybe it's the uneven bars. See what I did there? Yeah, you like that, huh?
I hate it so much.
I hate myself for saying it. It's so terrible. So I asked you before we went down this, like, how long has it been? Like 30 minutes? I don't even know. Probably longer. I asked you why you were mad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so even though you've kind of told me, like, no, I'm changing subjects. I don't mean like I don't get why you're mad. I get why you're mad. Yeah. And if I didn't before, I do now. What do you want? In like straight, like, if someone called upon you right now and said, you speak for all of us, which is unfair. I'm just trying to put some pressure on you.
That's fine.
What the fuck you want?
What I would want is the people in power to admit there's a problem, to admit there's always been a problem, to admit that we can't keep going on with this problem, that it is unequal, that people have been treated unfairly, and to actually put words into action to actually make a difference, to actually start making a real change in how we're treated. Like, not just in just throwing money or like doing signs and like bullshit ads like we're good, but actually going into communities, sitting down with people, asking what they need, what they want, and actually start to actually make a change. Because nothing will change if the top, like I said, we are a minority. It starts with the
I can't
majority.
understand what those actions are. Like, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
It's
I
okay.
truly don't know how to fix this problem, right? I wish I did.
It's
I'd call,
education.
I'd be like, hey, white guy here, I got the solution.
It's education.
Is it only education? How do you
It's
educate a 55-year-old, a 65-year-old? They
like
don't give a shit.
anybody else. Like anybody else. People learn. You learn like anybody
You
else.
gotta
And
want to learn.
you know what? If you don't want to learn, you get uprooted like anybody else. You shame everybody that is not supposed to. You're not supposed to let things fly. When you see something that's unequal, you call
You
it out.
shame. You're not calling, like, you're not standing for
Shame.
cancel culture.
No,
No,
I'm
like
not.
that's
Absolutely not. I'm not talking about cancel culture, but I'm actually saying call things how they are. Meaning, if someone says something that's fucked up, or if something that's unequal, say so.
like what
Not
Biden
just,
said.
yeah, it wasn't cool.
Oh,
Don't,
Biden has dementia.
dude.
I don't think Biden knows Biden said that.
I think Biden has people that are probably black, that are probably high placed, that talk like that behind closed doors
And he
and tell
thinks
him
it's
it's
okay.
okay. And then he said it out loud, but it fell on us. We know it's not okay. You don't get to define my blackness. I'm not, just because that's the other thing too, and that's whether it's the States or Canada. Just because black people predominantly vote Democrat or even here vote liberal,
Liberal.
yeah, doesn't mean that that's who we are. If you don't vote liberal, you're not black, or if you don't vote
Fuck.
Democrat, you're not black. It's
What is
stupid,
that?
because my blackness is not defined by my political party.
No, of course not. And I've
I
heard the same. Like, the liberals are great at manipulating communities. Like, before Trudeau was prime minister, and my father was involved in the Greek community like heavily, which is
yeah,
a massive organization here in Montreal. Trudeau was there all the time, shaking hands, saying stuff like, "We know the Greek community always will support the liberal." No, you don't know that. You don't know.
but that's the thing. When you think something that's always there and it's happened, meaning like if you have the minority vote, you don't work for it because
Yeah,
you already have it. You don't give a fuck.
because they're not gonna.
You're
Especially
not
the
gonna
older
shake.
generation, they're like, "Well, I vote liberal.
Exactly.
I vote liberal."
So I think as us as a minority, we need to come together and actually have our list of what we want and present that. I don't give a fuck who I vote for, as long as you can bring me what we want as a community. I don't care if it's liberals. I don't care if it's conservative. I don't care if it's NDP. I don't care if it's whatever. If you bring us what we want, what we need,
You'll vote for them.
well, I'll vote for you. And if you don't
Okay.
if the moment that you're like, we can't give you what you want, cool. What's the next guy? Can you give us what we want? Yes, we're voting for you. But the moment that politicians decide that they're just this vote, we have it, then
They become complacent. Yeah.
complacent, which is fucked up. But also, you can't define my black. You don't get to define blackness. You don't get to. You don't get to decide who's more black and who's less black based on political parties or what they do in their fucking weekends or whatever else. Who gives a fuck? Blackness is not defined by anything else than being black. That's it. I can be black however the fuck I want.
I've actually had some really interesting conversations, and they were one of the people who I invited when I sent you the invitation to join me on the show, because I wanted to talk to a few different people, get different perspectives. A friend of mine, an actress who I had worked with years ago, who is the most ginger whitest person you've ever seen. She's black.
Yeah.
Her father is black. You would never guess. Like, she is whiter than me. She's almost translucent. And she has a very like Montreal, like North Shore kind of cultural vibe, right?
Yeah.
Like almost sounds Italian or Greek, maybe French
Wow.
Canadian in the accent. So, but she's like, for her, she's almost like she's living the worst end of it to some extent, because there must be guilt there, because she must be. And I wanted to talk to her about it. She never responded to me though. I don't know.
It's tough because she might pass.
And I would completely understand, because you almost feel like if that was me, I'm trying to relate.
Mm-hmm.
I would be like, ooh, I skirted it by, but like I left everyone in the dust. Like it seems like something that would cause a lot of guilt.
It depends on how she feels about her blackness, about herself.
Yeah,
Meaning,
that's true.
I don't. It depends also if she feels like she's used it inappropriately, if she's got advantages from it. Like if she hasn't, if she doesn't feel that way, then it's up to her. Again, she's her.
Yeah.
She can define it the way she wants to. I can't define it for her. If she feels guilt, maybe she did something that she feels guilty about, but maybe she doesn't either, and that's fine too. You know what I mean?
And that's what I wanted to know. I was just curious. Like my whole thing is like, I don't know what I don't know, right?
Exactly.
So like I can't know what your life has been like. You can tell me about it. I can try and relate. I can try and understand.
Yeah.
And like to split things up in black and white, and I don't mean it in a racial, I just mean like the world is not black and white, right?
Yeah.
It really isn't. There
I'm not gonna lie, like for me the issue of racism is black and white.
Maybe the issue of racism is black and white, but the world itself is not black and white.
The world is nuanced. There's
like I see people blaming Trump right now for racism. Listen, dude, maybe Trump's a racist, maybe he's not. I'm not going to decide whether he's a racist, okay? But I know that Trump didn't bring racism to America. This is not his fault.
No.
He's making it worse.
Yes.
He's making it way worse.
Yes.
Like he did not need to pick a fight with Twitter.
Absolutely
he did not need to threaten to shoot people, even if it was nuanced. He did not need to fucking pass the Insurrection Act right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of what he should be doing is saying, okay, you guys are really mad. Let's make a deal. Like that's what he should. Let's talk.
But
which
that's
apparently
the thing.
Is what he's best at, right?
If he's a good leader, would try to bring people together.
He's not a good leader.
He's not a good leader.
Yeah.
A good leader. That's the he basically threw oil on an already big fire.
Yeah, but at the same time, he didn't start the fire.
He didn't start the fire.
Yeah,
I'm not you're correct that he didn't start the fire.
People are blaming him for racism. Like, yes, he's an idiot sometimes, but he didn't do this. Like, people love a simple explanation.
Fair.
Why is America on fire? It was Trump.
No.
The Republicans, it's the Democrats through CNN putting violence on the news. Like, okay, maybe there are hints of truth in both those statements.
Yeah.
For sure. They're part of the equation. But that's what I mean by the world is not black and white.
That's
why I want to talk to people.
Yeah.
And I just want to get as much information on any kind of topic as I can. Like, I want to fill the hole.
I think that nice.
Like that, eh? Fill my hole. Available on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube.
Very nice. Very nice. But I think you're correct, too. Like, America's been, I mean, not even America, man. North America's been broken for, like, a long time. And I mean, like, a long time.
Yeah,
like, we've not reconciled anything with race.
We broke it when they broke it when they got here.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Until we actually fix this, I don't think neither America nor Canada nor any country that has black people, and I mean like North America, is ever going to be whole, because we can't come together to fix this, and that's the issue. If we can't come together to fix this, you can't fix anything else. Like, it's just not gonna happen. It's like the foundation is rotten, basically. It's until basically this gets fixed. Yeah. Exactly. You can't keep going and keep having this circle, and it's not like it's getting better. It's not like we're getting less of us. There's more of us. So the more of us that it keeps happening, well, there's gonna be more protests. Like have a younger generation of people who are seeing this live on Twitter, on TV, on the news, like on every type of social media. You're not making them less angry. And then you're making the people who are already racist, already pro-police or pro trying to not see what's going on, you're making them more mad. So you're just clashing those two things. People are afraid of change, right? So if your life is comfortable, why rock the boat? That's how people act. That's the thing. But that's what I told you before. It's when you do the bare minimum, you don't try to 100. I agree with that. Yeah, 100%. You don't try to put shit on your ice cream. So
I'm more worried about the ice cream, man. I'm lactose intolerant.
I'm lactose intolerant too. See,
I've read that. I've read somewhere that huge,
Yep.
yeah, like in the black community, it's very,
yeah,
yeah,
man. No,
that's
fucks us
interesting,
up.
right?
Fucks us
Maybe
up.
I'll do one of those DNA tests. What do you think?
I
Not with this
listen,
nose, man. Not with this
listen.
nose.
If you turn out to be any part black, you better be front lines on those protests. I better see you.
I got
front
kids,
lines.
man. You're plenty parts black. You got kids. You're home. You understand.
I get it. I get it. I
I
can't even
honestly,
say I don't get it.
if I came back and that even a little bit, I would be so surprised because I've done my family tree quite like pretty far back, like on my mom's side, like 9 generations,
and still white.
Like,
damn,
in the same like 20-kilometer radius.
Damn.
Like there was some cousin fucking going on for sure. Look
Yikes.
at that. No, this is incest, my friend.
Yikes.
It's a small village.
Yikes.
On my dad's side, I've definitely got some like Oriental roots. Like I don't mean like China, but like
No.
You know,
In-
Asia
yeah.
Minor, Turkey, maybe
Okay.
some Albanian. Who knows? It's a mess. People love to fuck with people love to fuck people. There's no
Fair.
one who actually believes that, you know, 200 years ago, our ancestors were like, well, I'm not going to fuck that guy. He looks different. They're like, I'm going to fuck that guy.
200 years ago?
In Europe, especially,
Oh,
like
yeah,
between white people, like Albanians, Croats, Greeks, it's all the same shit. They were all the same religion. They were just having sex with each other.
Excuse me.
So when civilization falls, and it all turns to ash, and 1,000 years from now, they find like some server in like, you know, when the guerrillas take over, right? And they find like a server, and on that server, just a small part of it, there's a segment of this episode.
Yeah.
What do you want them to hear you say?
Oh, be good to each other. Stop shooting black people. Blackness is a privilege. And I don't know, man. I mean, just just be good to each other.
That's fucked up because they don't speak English 1,000 years from now, but the good try. And I think that humor is probably one of the things that kind of brings people together, even though it divides them often. And I've heard Pants say the most crazy shit in the past, and I know it comes from the best fucking place, and I feel like people love it.
Yeah, that's why I'm very good. I'm a very big proponent of comedy. Pentel is a comedian, and I think that's the most noblest job ever. I think you just try to make the funniest thing out of like bad situations,
the darkest fucking situation,
darkest fucking things, and it has nothing to do with the actual thing. It has everything to do with like, I might as well make something funny out of it. I might as well make people laugh, and just me laughing is just good. Like it doesn't matter. Laughing, like,
well, unless you're laughing at someone's like.
It depends. It's where the joke comes from.
There's a lot. It's where the joke comes from.
That's what I mean. If the
right?
joke comes from a good place, and every joke is the attempt to be funny comes from a good place.
I think so. Yeah.
And I think that's
stand behind
noble,
that statement.
I mean, that's noble.
Even a bad comedian, I guess, is noble.
He's trying.
He's trying. He's out there doing his jokes,
that's
running his shtick.
And dude, every good comedian starts as a bad comedian. So
that's wisdom right there.
There you go.
Maybe I should have brought you on to talk about that because you solved nothing.
Oh,
you've enlightened me. I think.
Yeah, I
couldn't get any whiter. I'm a little lighter now, I guess.
I hope so. I hope you know what? Maybe that's what use this as. Again, if you don't know what to say, use it as information for others.
That's what it is. Like, again, I'll say what I said at the beginning. I didn't know. Like, I know that having any kind of content going out right now and not even touching on this, because I've seen creators do it, just business as usual, is irresponsible. If you have a platform, even if it's a small platform, like I'm not a fucking influencer.
No, but say something.
But to not use that platform in any way, shape, or form is irresponsible and selfish. And I've used this platform, not fill my hole, but like the internet in the past for things that were closer for me, like in the sense of, you know, like in 2008 when the crisis hit Europe and the IMF ravaged the land of my ancestors, my cousin fucking ancestors. I used it that, you know what I mean? Like this is my tool. And like you said, you couldn't be there yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Kids, you have responsibilities. You can't take that risk. But through art, through content, you can do something arguably more important than standing outside and getting tear gassed. Not that it wasn't important for those people to be there.
I think it
mean,
was, but
you.
I think for me it was, and I think at times like this, I think we need everybody to put their hands in and do like something, and I think that's what I could do. So I think, no matter what you even if you feel there's nothing you can say, or there's always something you can do. Like use what your privilege is, use what your tools are, use what your skills are, and do something. Not just lip service, just actually do something.
Maybe this is your first something.
Yep.
Or
it's good.
Or it's well, I remember watching once on a news report. I don't remember what the context was. There was some white woman making a documentary. It was a Netflix doc, and she had gone to talk to Black people about what their issues are. She was no one like super famous. She was like B-lister, and everyone was like, "Okay, we appreciate you coming, but why we gotta explain it to you?" Like they're like, "We're tired of explaining it to white people." And there's a part of me that feels like that's what I've set myself up for here in the comments. If anyone came over to watch.
I think you'll be fine.
I'm just trying to have a conversation.
I think you'll be fine. Yeah, I think you'll be good.
And the last thing I will bring up is something that I was once goaded to on This Just Thing. If you don't watch This Just Thing, we'll be back after the quarantine. I was sharing. We were doing an episode called Digital Blackface, where we're covering Lil Dicky and Chris Brown doing the Freaky Friday video. And I basically said that this is the most high concept version of blackface I have ever witnessed.
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's offensive, because obviously Chris Brown's in on the joke and he's okay with it. And and white people seem to think if you have permission, you can drop an N-bomb.
It's not how that works.
It's not how that works at all. I know. But I still thought it was very high concept until I went higher concept and I switched Pantelis out for Preach. And if you look at them side by side, that's easily a black version of Pantelis and a white version of Preach.
Fair. You're right.
And he tried to goat me into dropping it.
No.
He tried. He tried. And when I didn't, he called me by it. But like lovingly. And I was like, wow, why did that feel so fucking good?
No. No.
Like I'm in the clan. I'm in the tribe now.
No, that works.
No, I'm just
there's no pass, Adam.
No, not that I can say it. No, that's not what I meant. I just meant he said it to me like in a form of like, okay, respect.
But that's the thing. It is. I'm not gonna lie. It is a form of respect.
Do you use it?
Of course I do.
I don't know. Why'd you say it like that? It's not a bygone, like a foregone conclusion. I don't know.
No. There is.
Do you use it often?
It's tough because there's, even within my family, like the relationship with the N-word is different, and I use it often.
Different, like some of them use it with a hard R.
No, some don't want to. I use it because that's how I grew up. It's just, to me, it's a word that it's empowering. Meaning,
you say it around your kids?
That's the part. So I don't say it around the kids.
Have they ever slipped it?
Never.
Oh, they're not that old yet, I guess.
Exactly. They're not.
But they listen to music. They're not.
That's the thing. I think for my son, he heard it.
He's probably going to use it.
I think he sang it, but I don't think he knows
how bad it is.
How bad he does. I don't think it's a bad word. That's the thing. See, I don't think it's a bad word. So I don't think he's.
Well, everything depends on context, right?
Exactly. So I don't.
That's what I was trying. That's what I was trying to tell you, by the way. Before, like he said it to me in such a like.
No.
Like it felt like a warm hug, and I was like, "How can a word is not bad?"
It's like saying "fuck." There's so many intonations of "fuck." Yeah,
I don't know about that.
No.
I think it should be categorized as a in the dictionary. This is what I think. This is my opinion. It should be in the fucking dictionary. And we should have definitions for it. One of those should be various. Like we can't even undefinable, but one of them should literally be like a negative connotation, not towards black people, but as a concept of ownership.
I think that's what it is.
That's what it was. It was synonymous with slave, right?
But that's the thing. I think it's when I say it's like the word fuck, I mean more like the variations of how we can use it. Like you can use it, you can use fuck lovingly and you can use fuck super negatively. So I think the same thing with the N-word. You can use it as a term of endearment and you can use it as like hard R or whatever else, right? So I think
no one actually uses it with a hard R, right?
1000% they do.
Really? I've never heard it uttered, except by rednecks.
Try being black. It gets it on.
You want a Freaky Friday?
Nah, I'm good. That's the thing. I don't think I ever want to be white. I'm good being black. I just wish being black was easier. But I think like if we're going back to my kids, his relationship with the N-word is going to be something we talk about, and I'm going to have to gauge what he feels about it so that I can see if he's using it the way I'm using it. But I think at a certain point, I won't have a say in how he's using it. You know what I mean?
As an adult, obviously not, but you can set the framework for it, right?
That's what I mean, exactly. So it's to me, it's a term of endearment, and it is a word that's powerful for me because you don't get to use it.
I wish I had a word like that. I don't have a word like that.
No, y'all
like
don't
in my culture. Well, we have malaka.
You have malaka, that's true.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's all right. It just means someone who jerks off.
But it's still you have it.
It's it has multiple uses, exactly. And I've heard it used in the most creative ways that I was like, wow, you thought about that before. You've been thinking about this. Like I've heard it used as a what do you mean? Malaka?
Hey, that's
like,
but that's that's the thing.
And you understand it.
That's
even
what
you
I mean.
Understand. It's all intonation,
it's the
right?
same thing with the N-word. So
now, where can people find your work? Where can people learn more about you and your obsession with bacon? I love your bacon counter, by the way. I'm stealing that. Well, I got to find something that I love just as much that isn't frowned upon like nicotine.
Geez, where do you find me? You can find me on.
Well, don't give them your address, like.
No.
Then you're giving them my address.
Yeah, exactly. You can find me on Instagram at Neldy G. You can find me on my podcast, The All Dress Special, on Spotify, iTunes, wherever else you find podcasts.
What is your podcast about, by the way, for people who are curious?
It is the greatest Montrealers you've ever met. 4 of us. We come from.
I've never been on that show.
Listen, I said the 4 greatest Montrealers. So I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Get to our level. We cover all topics Montreal, all topics culture. So we basically a bunch of people from different parts of culture
shooting shit.
One cool podcast, just like the All Dress Pizza, which is different bunch of shit on one pizza. So that's who we are.
So if it was in the States, it would be called the Everything on It podcast. Yep. And thank you for accepting to explain blackness to me.
No problem.
To the best of my comprehension. And thanks, honestly, and I mean this in the most sincere way. Like, thank you for not being like, "Fuck this guy, how dare he?" Because like, it's everyone's gonna say, "Look at this guy, he brought him on for the views." I don't have enough subscribers to care about the views.
I also think there's never a time where you can't have a conversation. So I think that's the part. There's always a good time to have a conversation, no matter what it is. So to those people, they can fucking suck it.
Yeah, suck it, all dress style. My name is Phil Balabanos. I like stories. I like to fill the hole. I know, but I'm stuck with the name because I spin off from the other fucking show.
Can't believe it's to fucking fill the hole.
Fill the hole, and not to be mistaken with fill in the blanks. Fuck that guy, Dr. Phil. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. You can find me at pbalabanos. You can find me at balabanos.com. You can find Neldy at Neldy G. You can Google that All Dress Special. I've never heard it. I'm going to check it out.
Yep.
And I will see you guys next week when we have another guest who isn't Neldy.
Oh, jeez. That's going to be a bad show.
The knife is twisting, man. The knife is twisting. I want to woo people, man. You've been listening to Fill My Hole. This podcast is available on YouTube in its full video form. If you're lazy and you don't want to Google it and you don't want to search on YouTube, balabanos.com, hit the podcast section. You can subscribe directly to the RSS feed there. My name is Phil Balabanos, and I'll see you next time.